Went with the good old Liquid Death tonight. The peach tea.
Never had one.
They're really good. I tried one randomly. I think Jared Andrews recommended I try one, but that's neither here nor there. But I want to put a disclaimer out there before we watch this Mystique video, because you and I were laughing about this before we started. Obviously, we're watching Music City Mystique from February 15th, recorded in the lot on very, very exposed concrete, off at an angle. It just made us realize how spoiled we are with the West Coast coverage in the beginning of the season, like Robert, George, marching vlogs, anybody else I'm not remembering.
Evan Guerra out there.
Everybody out there.
Drumline.
Then we're kind of just like scrambling for crumbs for the non-groups that are in California. But, so I want to say that because we do have plans to watch Mystique's show like we did last year with Shane Gwaltney. We've already reached out to him. We're waiting for some good floor runs with uniforms and stuff to do it later in the season. So this will not be our only read on Mystique. So don't get...
Or at least talk through it. I don't know if we watched it last year, but we talked through the whole program.
Yeah.
I can't remember, to be honest.
I feel like we watched it. I don't know. Somebody remind us about what content we made last year, because clearly we don't...
We're going to go through it at least.
Yeah. So... we don't want anyone to get butthurt that this is like the only time we're going to watch Mystique and talk about it. It's early on. We're going to cover it more. This is Aged Out Reacts, everybody. We're the two hosts of the Aged Out podcast. If you haven't picked up on that, Michael Fantini and
Evan Worrell.
And today's episode is once again sponsored by Brash Drums. My pad is actually next to me this time. This thing is
both
phenomenal.
of them down there?
Huh?
You have both of them down there?
The Mojo pad, and then also the Alpha pad, which is phenomenal. Brashdrums.com. Great products. They have a quad pad that's great too. The Wingman. Link in the description.
Also,
go check that out.
Breaks down super easy.
Oh,
Makes
yeah.
it small.
Yeah, the Wingman completely deconstructs and will fit in a bag, which most quad pads don't, which is pretty cool. All right, so go check that out. Patreon.com, join button here on YouTube, agedoutpodcast.com. If you want to support us financially at all, grab a shirt, sticker, donate, whatever you want to do. Aged Out Fundamentals, please drum every day. It'll make me happy when I see the fundamentals view counts going up again as they were early on when we first launched them. I'm telling you, they will help. All right, let's jump into Mystique. Did I forget anything?
Yep. I am thankful, though. We get spoiled by the West Coast, but I am thankful for this Lake Acuity Productions, whoever you are, who filmed this. So shout out to that person.
I was actually about to check what the channel was.
Yeah, I do like, that people are filming it and putting it on there. I always tease our friends at Rhythm X, like, you guys need to put up more content.
They've put out more this year. There's been shorts and stuff they've put out on Instagram. So kudos to X's media people. They're doing more. But yeah, let's just jump in and see what Mystique's doing. From what I've heard, they're playing pretty well. I mean, obviously, everyone we've watched so far has had dirt. We're going to do our best to not react to if they fudge a roll or like somebody's not quite, as you put it earlier, didn't get on the
February
train.
lot warm up.
So we'll try and talk about arrangement and all that good stuff.
Show's called Parasite. Obviously, it's very rainy.
Good little burst, isolated. Yeah.
Little speedo rolls into the puttitas.
I'm going to back up, but I mentioned before we started how exposed playing on this concrete is. It also does make it sound really good when it's really good. And there are moments in this video when it's really good, and you can tell.
Turn this light down.
Yeah, great low fours.
Woo!
Almost on the roll at the end. Did you hear the bass line layer in at the end of that?
Yeah. I did catch that for that final punch at the end. Yeah, just a lot of speedo technique, front of the fulcrum in there, all those fast, like isolated stuff, the single drags, the putted drags, kind of that little fivelet, like nutchita thing in there, thing. So,
and they had a lot of like start-stop, like using presses as a restart moment to make it. And I think you said this is a little thematic of the show being in Parasite. I'll let you talk a little bit about that in a minute if you want to, but like more bursty, stuttery, starty, stop writing. You say it's a little thematic.
I'll kind of talk about it when we get to some of the quad stuff a little bit more Remind me.
Well, and I think with the bass writing here, I think I was talking more about they came in on a triplet roll towards the end of the phrase. Like one of the high drums came in perfectly, and it sounded really cool.
Yeah, that stuff's challenging too, because you know you have to go from, you talk about like the arm speed change, like the notes are dense, but they're going from the 4-4-4 da 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 4-4 arm, and then you have to really engage the arm muscles real quick to stay locked into that rhythm.
It's very, very quick changes in your hands and the feel of it, back and forth and back and forth. Yep.
This might be the most fours they've ever played in their life.
Oh, probably. Well, they've got some Boston kids in the group, so.
Know your horses.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like some. That was sick.
Almost. Yeah,
At the very end, somebody wasn't on the train
Yep.
before it left the station.
There's a lot of solo work and like pod work and stuff with the snares and groups of 3 later on. Yeah.
I like how they worked that 1 count roll in the middle of that. They're playing all these legato crossovers and duple double strokes, and they had that one random 7-stroke in there.
Yeah, the singles. Pick it up, pick it up.
Very good control holding on to all that at different dynamic levels.
Woo, that's a good roll. As they
I talked over it.
Listening environment, as they rotate the listening environment, they had that 1 speedo roll in there.
I talked over it. I'll back up.
As they start to rotate the form. Double flame drags.
Pretty good Mac rolls. I love the basses on top of that roll.
And then the space opens up for the bass. So yeah, like very almost like infectious type stuff with the Parasite. The visual ensemble interacts with like individuals and kind of like they wrap in the color and the fabric around them, like as like one person's infected and it spreads. That's kind of the vibe I got from the early season read I saw. Gives me like honestly like a Stranger Things vibe, like
the show.
The show, like the Vecna or whatever.
Great isolated double strokes. There's a lot of hand-to-hand singles too in the flat line.
Nice bass. Challenging too that they have those macros into the chasse space too. The body movement.
This might be some of the pod work. Yeah.
Ooh, great attack. Yeah.
Coming together on those shots. That long space. before
Long
the
space,
roll.
yeah.
Not the best angle for recording this.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
I'll back up because I
I
want to hear
appreciate
the
the video.
content.
I do appreciate
For
the video.
sure.
We're not knocking the video.
We're not
but
knocking
yeah,
it at
just
all. We're trying to give them credit because that's an arc
Not the
at
best
the side.
angle.
It's like a weird on the concrete.
Yeah.
But I want to get the content at the end of that phrase, so I backed up. Nice little drop out there. Just in general, the writing gives me Boston vibes, like Colin McNutt the last 4 or 5 years. And you said it earlier when I pointed out, like, that's a lot of fours. You're like, a lot of Boston kids in there, or some at least. It's like, to your strengths. They already played a lot of this stuff all summer, multiple summers for a few of them, and so why not? I get it. And this is not a negative I'm pointing out. I'm just observing and listening.
Yeah. And, like, writing to the source material, I know they're playing a lot of Tool music and stuff that has a lot of that kind of, like, inflection feel to it with like what Danny Carey does with his parts and stuff anyway. He does those like bursts in between the groove stuff, so it makes sense.
Yeah. And you said the word right there at the end, just bursty. The writing has a ton of reattacks where like and there's a lot of speed ups and slowdowns, and there'll be a slowdown, a short space, and then all of a sudden just burst into some fast isolated double strokes or fours, and then it'll slow down again. Just tons of push and pull within the writing.
Kind of a lot of those like decaying, like overlapping flamlark into like into those speedo front fulcrum stuff.
Yep.
Let's keep going. They do a lot of work throughout the show too with like the what's it called, the vocoder, where it like bends the sound.
Yeah.
Especially like when they're in those pods and the solo stuff.
More pods. Well, 2 of them, but you know what I mean. Oof, that's a tough attack.
Yeah. They have a lot of reattacks this year. Out of space, just
a lot.
Out of a lift or a prep.
Interesting. Is that 2 and 4?
1-5
or 1-5? Yeah. Readable, articulate, to the point. And I thought something else was going to happen, so I'm going to back up and missed whatever that... more like ebbs and flows in the writing, man. Makes you think they're done, they comes back.
Fake out.
Bro, that's tough.
Little double paradiddles.
Yeah.
I love a good double paradiddle. Right, left.
I play those when I hack all the time, Nora. They just feel good when you know how to super hand relax. But to point out there, when they did play those, they made it even harder by double accenting the singles. So like right, left when they played it.
Yeah, instead of doing like a decay.
Yeah, and that makes it even harder. So, and I want to back up because what did they come out of into those double paradiddles? Now I'm getting all snare drum nerdy. I don't care. Like a roll or something. I think the book's hard.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of stuff. We'll get this last rep here, and this will be the end of it.
There's a lot of space too. Like same model as like the snares and quads, just kind of like sporadic at times.
Yeah. See if they get the double paired, they'll phrase better.
It's like a double PDD into like a paired it'll roll.
Yep. Better rep than the first one. All right. That's the end of that video. Thank you once again for filming that, because we want to see this. Everybody wants to see it. It's not about critiquing the clarity at this point. Obviously, if somebody's really clean, we're going to point it out, but we're never going to
I think it's more just about checking out what everybody's trying to do.
Exactly.
Like, what are we going for? Like, who's taking a little bit of risks? Who's making an evolution? Who's, maybe stretching their arranging chops or their playing chops or their visual chops or, whatever the case may be. It's just fun to dig in and see what new stuff is going down.
And I will say, obviously, anybody with ears, there's dirt here on this exposed concrete, just dirt in general when they're playing. What I will also point out is, we mentioned throughout watching this, tons of reattacks. That's a layer of difficulty you have to learn to time together as a drum line or a snare line or a quad line. All the different hand speed changes, and we always try to point those out because of how difficult that is within writing when groups do a lot of it or any of it in general, because it's your ear will hear it once you start pointing it out, and you'll be able to recognize that level of difficulty as you move throughout your drumming career or whatever. There's tons of reattacks, tons of feel changes, speed up, slow down in the hands, tons of where they got to hold on more, right into more just fulcrum-based stuff. And this is a book that I would hear and not expect most groups to be really clean out the gate. There's just too many things to feel as an ensemble.
I'm sure, too, they're just like kind of pumped to be able to play outside. Because when you're not in California, Texas, or Florida, you're like, we can get outside.
That's something else to point out. I remember we didn't get outside hardly at all in 2012 at Rhythm X. No. And we finally did finals week at that park. I don't think they go there anymore because they don't rehearse there. But either way, the first day we were outside, we didn't play very well because we could actually hear everything, and we had to like kind of dial things in to being able to hear all the stuff. So I like what they're doing. I'm excited to see it on the floor with uniforms like everybody else. The writing seems like they're taking risks in what I'm hearing in the battery writing so far, which is awesome. If they get this book where I know they want to get it by April, it's going to be really fun to watch in the lot and on the floor finals night, because it's a dense, cool book. I like it.
Yep, for sure. Looking forward to checking this one out, getting some more feedback or like details on the show itself too.
Yep. So look forward, like we said earlier, to the Shane video. Hopefully sometime in March would be our goal. We'll see what happens. But I want to actually, people that are still watching at this point are probably people that watch us every video we put out, so you're more likely to actually answer this question in the comments. Would you like us to do because somebody pointed this out, we've had a bunch of quad players on before for all kinds of purposes, tons of snare drummers. We've had a few bass drummers if you go back and look through reaction videos and podcasts. Bass drum is what Evan and I know the least in terms of the nuances. Would you all be interested in a video that's more of like a bass drum 101, where we sit down with a really accomplished bass drummer and watch a few different bass lines from this indoor season, last summer, famous bass lines through history, and they can kind of go over the nuance of what's going on? So let us know if you'd want to see some content like that moving forward. We've been thinking about doing it for a little while. Just want to see if anyone would be interested in it before we green light it and pull the trigger on it. So other than that, thanks for hanging out. AgedOutPodcast.com, shirt, sticker, Aged Out Fundamentals. Go drum every day. On your brash pad on this thing.
Yeah.
Aged Out Fundamentals on this guy.
Pick them up.
Link to there. Thank you. Go subscribe to the channel of the person that uploaded this. Evan, do you have the name of the channel again in front of you? Actually, I can just look
it was
right
like
here.
Lake Acuity Productions, I think is
Lake
what it was.
Acuity Productions.
Ooh.
I don't know if they're going to start recording a lot of stuff. Go give them some subscribers. Like their video. I think I hit it all. Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. And we will see everybody in the next video, which is probably going to be our early season impressions. Just a podcast. What do we think so far? How do people stack up in our brains? We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.